Is it going on your end?
Yep. Tell me when to start.
About to hit record.
And welcome back to another episode of the Brutally Honest Loan Officers podcast. I'm Derek Brown. With me, as always, Stephen Brock. Say hi, Stephen.
I was waiting. I gotta say something. Jeez. Hi, Stephen. How was your weekend, buddy?
That'd be good. It was long. Golf tournament, then went to Epcot, then the Super Bowl. So it was just a lot going on.
Went to Epcot and then flew over to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
It
Now I went over to a friend's house to watch the Super Bowl. Kind of a boring game.
was a very defensive game. Yes.
Yeah.
But what do they say? Defense wins championships. But it was kind of like, I mean, those are
the Seahawks defense won championship.
I mean, you could the Patriots stopped them a lot. Their offense just couldn't do.
Bro, that one guy Gonzalez on Patriots, bro, he laid out a couple times.
Like
dude, I thought, yeah, if it weren't for that guy, give that man a bonus.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was fun hanging out with friends, but like ultimately, kind of watching the game is just, it was 3-0, 6-0, 9-0. It's like goodness, like
yeah.
I mean, first half there were no touchdowns.
You were sitting there going like, okay, they're just getting field goals. Like Patriots are still in it, but you never felt like they were in it.
They weren't like. I mean, you got to think 3-0
by the score they were in
score
it.
Game. 6-0. It's a score game. And so then like they're just not far behind, but they also couldn't put anything together.
Yeah.
So, as I say that from my little house in Sanford, like I'm some kind of NFL coach or scout or something that understands it.
I'm a flag football 8-year-old coach, so
yeah,
I coach the defense.
So I don't know, and now it's like so many people are just like going ballistic over the halftime show, and Trump tweeted this, and it was just a football game, guys. Yeah. Just a football game.
I think part of it is people are going to go back and be like, entertainers are there to entertain. Like, stop worrying about the political stance.
Dude, and then I saw somebody saying like, didn't Bad Bunny like burn an American flag? And then people are saying that was AI, and I'm like, goodness gracious, I don't think I care enough. I don't know.
Nobody,
But anyways,
let's go back
to work. Topic today. We're going to talk about Florida's homestead exemption.
Oh, this is a wonderful topic.
So, and other exemptions. So there's quite a few that people probably don't even know exist. But this is something that can save Florida homeowners thousands of dollars over time.
And this is all Florida. I know we're licensed in different states, and when I first got licensed in Tennessee, I was like, "Hey, do they register for a homestead?" And the realtor was like, "What is that?" Like they don't do that, so they had no clue. I think like their only tax exemption is like if you're 65 and older, like there's one. But so for Florida, that's what we're talking about. So what is homestead exemption?
Yeah, so when it's your primary residence, you can file for homestead exemption. It is your homestead, and that gives you a discount basically on the property taxes.
Yep.
And it can keep it from increasing. So there's several other exemptions that we'll kind of go through, and then we'll also jump onto the topic of the idea of abolishing property taxes.
Yeah. So if you're looking at your property taxes, if you're going on your county website, county appraisers are looking at it, you have what's called a assessed value, which is like, hey, we think this is what your house is worth. And then you have a taxable value, which is what they're actually taxing off of that number. So there's two different things. Now, when you purchase your home, the first year, those are basically the same.
Yeah. So, and you got to think like, if I bought a primary residence as a single person, I could file for $25,000 exempt. So if my assessed value is $500,000, I'll be assessed by the county at $475. Yep. Now I'm married and my wife is on title, and it's her homestead. So now we can get $50,000. So 25 and 25. And then it stops there. You can't put, somebody else on title and get 75,000. So it's capped at 50,000 for
married couple.
And then, so you think if it's assessed value at 500, married couple, they're getting assessed at 450. And then it's got the 3% cap. So it can't increase more than 3% per year.
So the taxable value.
Correct.
So easy numbers. If your taxable value is 100,000 this year, next year, the max it can go is 103. Doesn't mean
Right.
it will, but that's the max. What I think some people get confused on that is, so only my what I pay cash for taxes can only go up 3%. That's not true. The
Right.
taxable value can go, because if your county votes to change the mill rate, which is the percentage that they tax you on, that can get, so they're taxing you on 3.2%, let's say, on that 100,000. Well, next year they can vote and say, we're going to increase our mill rate to 4.5. Well, now you're getting taxed on 4.5. Your
Right.
taxable value only went up 3%, but that mill rate, what they're taxing you on, can change. And they send this out every, what is it, September, October?
It's September when the truth and millage comes
Yep.
out. So
And
that's
that's
your,
where you
we
can
call
kind
it
of
a
see
trim
that.
notice, but it's basically your proposed property tax bill for the new year. So property taxes are always paid in arrears. Like, so at the end of last year, we paid for our 2025 taxes. In September this year, we'll get our trim notice for 2026. And that should give us an idea of what the property taxes are going to be come November when the official tax bill comes out.
Yeah.
So that's, I always tell, my buyers, September is a big month where we got to pay attention because our escrow account could be changing.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. So back to Homestead.
yeah,
It's
I mean,
automatic, right? It's automatic. It just happens.
oh man, I wish it was automatic, but it is not. You have to file it. Now, I will say in recent years, county tax collectors and property appraisers working together have made it so much more convenient to file than in years past.
Yeah.
Because you can do it all online now.
Because usually what happens, you buy a house, it gets e-filed almost immediately, that within a week or so of you closing, it's on the county website. So the deadline is March 1st, right?
Yeah.
That you have to
And I
file.
always hate that they say March 1st because it makes people think like I have March to do it. No, 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 no.
You have
Like
February.
March 2nd, you're now late.
Yep.
And then some county, I mean, the counties that I work with, mostly like Seminole, Orange, Volusia, they're pretty decent. Like if you file on March 2nd, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But let's get that in sooner rather than later. And
And
it's
you don't
for
have
anybody that bought last year. So if you
exactly.
close January of this year, can you file for Homestead? Well, yes, absolutely, do it. But your time frame that you're required to file for Homestead is based on you bought last year and you need to file by March 1st this year.
So I always tell people, as soon as, like, because usually we transfer their mortgage, get serviced by another company, and this is where you're going to pay your bill. That's when I tell them, like, go check the county website. If your name is on the deed now on the county website, they've uploaded it and everything. Go file then.
Yeah,
file immediately.
Change your driver's license.
Yep.
And
then file your homestead, because when you do it that way, then when January, February, March 1st come around, you're good. You already filed. Now, you only have to file once, unless something changes and you need to file something else. But like once you file, your property is homesteaded. So it will happen every single year.
Yeah. So just remember that it's not automatic. And I've had, homeowners that didn't, and then they reach out like, why are my property taxes so high? When did you file for Homestead? I think the title company did that when we bought. No.
Nope.
You have to go and do it. And then we look online. There is no homestead exemption. You need to go file right away. Sometimes they will kind of revert back to that assessed value of when you bought, but
they don't have to. It's kind of like a courtesy.
Right.
I have seen them do it like a year. I think they were like 14 months from like that. They did do it. So sometimes they will just do it, but I think they have to go through a little process. But you got to think, like, you basically overpaid them. Now the county owes you money. Like,
well, and like, so people forget to file. That's one mistake. And the other mistake or misconception is that they don't understand about a new assessment. So if you buy a house, let's just say you bought a house last year for 500,000 and the previous owner bought it 20 years ago for 150, and the assessed value is like 140,000. That's what the property taxes are based on. There is a very good chance that the county is going to reassess your property because a purchase transaction had been done, and it's going to go from that previous assessed amount to the new assessed amount.
Yep.
So 100 and something thousand to 400 and something thousand. So your property tax bill will increase. You don't get to keep the same exemptions that the previous owner had. So you can offset it a little bit by filing for homestead or adding any other exemptions you might qualify for, but there will be an increase.
Yep. When you do a sale, it does. Now, this doesn't mean like, hey, I'm going to transfer my property to a trust or something like that, that I'm still technically the owner, but the trust now owns it. Like, you're not going to get reassessed. But if there is a sale on the property, it gets reassessed. If I don't have my kids on it and I decided to gift it to them and they're purchasing it, that would be a reassess to them.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
And why does this all matter though?
I mean, to save money for one.
Because Florida taxes are expensive.
Well, let's also keep in mind one of the benefits too is, let's just say you pass away, your house is going to go through probate. Your homestead at home doesn't necessarily have to go through probate. Yep. So when my mom passed away, like she didn't have a will or a trust or anything really set up, but I immediately inherited her house. And it was like creditors couldn't go after it. It was my mom's homestead and it went to me. So like, that's just another huge benefit that some people probably don't think about.
Somebody can't put liens on your house and kick you out of it if it's homestead. Right. Now, if you get foreclosed because you don't pay your mortgage, that's different. But that is a process. It's a lengthy process. So it's not like somebody can just overnight do it. But like that's one of the benefits of homesteading with it, you know. And then how he's talking about the homestead exemption, that's to save our homes. So in Florida, it's a 3% cap on the taxable value increase, the assessed value on it, and I think it's 10% if it's not. So like this is your second home, it's an investment property,
right? Those
can increase. I think it's 10% is what they can go up to. So that cap is what saves you from that part of it, and that's what keeps people's taxes low on there.
Right. Now we know homestead's a big one, but there's a lot of other exemptions that homeowners might qualify for. So let's go through some of those. We kind of touched on the first one.
Yep, the 25,000 if you're married, to the 50,000. I mean, if you're single, then 50,000 if you are married. Then that you get that part of it. Derek talked on that one. There's a senior exemption that a lot of people don't.
And it kind of differs by county. Different counties offer different exemptions. So you know, seniors, just because you're 65 or older, you might get a $10,000 exemption. So married couple, both over that, you're going to get 50,000 plus an extra 10. Off of your assessed value.
Disability. There's disability ones. Florida has that you can file for that same thing where they take part of it off on there, just depending. I think it depends on the percentage of your disability, if you can work or not. There's different things that they can take off too.
Right. Yeah. And I think there's even one county that, like, if you're blind, that's another exemption.
Yeah, blind is the big one. Like I always see that there is one like specifically for the blind one. I see that one all the time.
Right.
I think the biggest one is the veterans one.
Yes. So if you're a disabled veteran, you can get a smaller exemption. But if you are 100% permanently disabled through the VA, you just have to document that. I mean, the VA sends it to you, and then you provide that to the county, and then you don't have to pay ad valorem taxes.
Yes.
Which, I mean, in some cases, we're talking thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So real world example is myself. I just got the 100%. So there's 3 types of disability in the VA. There is permanent total service connected disability, which means you're 100%. They're never going to question it. It's done. Like they can never review it. The only time they can review it is like, oh, you file for something, and then they got to review everything. So they say, hey, you're 100%, you're done. There is 100% and not permanent, which means like they think that you could get better from certain things. So that's why they put that on there. And then there's 100% that you can't work. So the one, which is you could be 50% disabled, but you can't work. So they pay you as 100%. Gotcha. The 100% permanent is what the counties and states are looking for. I mean, it's never going to change. Right. So when you have that one, like you said, you don't pay those portion of the taxes. You pay like your CDDs, there's like little like improvement areas. It's the
your county solid waste, water treatment, like there's different ones. That's the non-ad valorem. That's set by city and county.
And that is like for me, my example is it went from like 12,000 a year to 2.
Yeah.
Like that's a
So do you have a
$10,000.
CDD?
Yeah, we have a CDD,
Yeah,
which is like that's the 2,000 of it. I think like 1,400 is the CDD. Like that's really where it's coming from.
Yeah, because mine, like I'm looking at it right now, mine's almost 9,000. And then my non-ad valorem is county solid waste at $305.
Yeah.
That's it. So if I were a 100% disabled veteran, like I would only have to pay $305.
Now, one other thing with disabled veterans, if you have 10% to 90% disability, like the 50,000 and the 25,000 homestead exemption, you get a 5,000 exemption from that.
Right.
So like mine was 55 that I was getting on there because I had disability that wasn't 100% yet. So
right.
You also have that part of it.
Yeah. And then just another important factor is surviving spouses might also qualify for this.
Yeah. And that comes down to what was your disability? Did you pass away because of that disability? And if yes, then the surviving spouse, all the VA benefits go to the surviving spouse.
Right.
And that's what people are like, oh, just because they passed away of old age or whatever. Like, no, it has to be, you have to link it to the disability and then it comes over. Okay.
Yeah. And then a couple others that are less common, first responders and line of duty exemptions.
Mm-hmm.
There's some counties that include that as well.
Yeah. And usually the first responders and the, like you said, the line of duty ones, you can't even find their house. Like they block it out.
Yeah.
Like police officers, a lot of firefighters, judges, people like that they take out where, all this stuff is public record. You can look up anybody's account, but that one it'll be blocked out. So you want to be able to see.
Yeah, it just comes out unfound or whatever. I've searched properties before and I'm like, why is it? And then come to find out the owner that's selling, like I have a buyer that's buying and they're like, Derek, like what would the property tax portion be? And I'm like, I don't know yet. We have to find out from title. Title's gonna get that number for us.
Certain counties you can call and be like, I have this address, this, and they'll be like, here it is. That's what title will do. Like they can go get it.
Right.
People can get it. You just can't, it's hard to search for. You can't just put the address in and look it up kind of thing.
Right. And then widower.
Yep.
So if you're a widow or widower, then you get like another small exemption. It's not big, but again, like some of these you can add up and it, really, really helps save.
I have a client for this that I didn't know she was a widow, but then she was like saying, she's like, oh yeah, my husband was on the title. Like I need to get him off. Like I've been a widow for like 10 years. And I'm like, there's a tax exemption once you do. She's like, there is? And I'm like, yeah, like once you file it, I'm like, I don't know how much they'll give you back, but like file it, let it happen. A lot of these though, when you're going to purchase, you don't get any of those exemptions until after, like how Derek said, except for 100% disability from the VA. We do not have to collect your taxes off the old owner. So we're going to just collect that non-admiral one. That's only ones that we're going to collect on that part. So a lot of people don't realize that changed, but 3 or 4 years ago, I think in the state that changed, because it used to be we had to collect it, and then suddenly you were going to, like for my case, I would have suddenly got $10,000 back after a year of paying taxes.
Or if you had previously owned a home and you didn't pay property taxes because of your like VA disability, and you could prove that you had filed for that before, then we might be able to not have to count it against you or whatever. But now they've just made it easier. And our veterans that have that disability, they have to sign a couple documents. We actually take the exemption application at closing.
Yeah. Just so it's filed.
I just had to do it for a client last month.
And I think one thing we didn't talk about this what is also really good about Homestead, and it's probably a whole nother podcast on it, is portability.
Yeah, we're not talking about portable mortgages.
No.
We're talking
portable
about
home taxes.
porting your homestead exemption on a prior property.
Yeah, that is the big one to have in there, and is switching it. So I just had a client, I think her taxable value was like 400,000. And then she went to go buy another house for like 800, 900,000. She sold her taxable value on the old one was 400. She sold her house for 800 and then went and bought another house, I think for like 900. She's like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to pay so many taxes. This is what was stopping her from buying. She's like, my tax bill is going to be huge. And I'm like, but you're going to port that 400,000 of tax saving to the new house because it's homestead. So you're going from one homestead to the other homestead. You have a 2-year, not a 2 year, it's 2 filing dates. So that could be if you closed right now and then you missed it for next year, that's really a year that you have to do it.
Right. Well, and
You have
that's
to,
where they say, like, have you owned a home in the last 3 years?
yeah,
Don't think that it's 3 years, it's two filing dates.
yep.
But usually like it'll come out to about like 3 years. So if you owned a home a year and a half ago that you sold and now you just bought, there's a good chance that you're going to be able to transfer that portability from the previous house to this one and then knock down the exemptions.
Yeah. Now, downside to that is depending on the like for her tax bill, because the previous owner only owned the house for like 2 years. So her tax bill for the first, year, I think it was probably like 10 months for her how she was there. The first
Right.
10 months was off the old owner, which was higher.
Right.
And then once the portability kicked in, it lowered her tax bill almost as low as her old house. And she's like, this is so great. Well, but that stopped her from buying it first. She's like, my tax bill is gonna be, I don't know if I want to go in there. Like it's gonna be so high. And I'm like, we did the calculations. I'm like, you're gonna have to quote unquote suffer it for the first like year because you're paying off the old owner. If their tax bill is high, but like once it switches, it's going to be roughly here. Most counties have like a calculator. You can kind of put it in there, like this is what it says it could be. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll buy it then.
Yeah, yeah. The tax estimator, most of the counties I work with have it. So we can go in and see what that would look like.
Yeah.
And then you can even put in like your previous market value and just value and the like savings and do a calculation to show like where you're probably going to land.
Usually if it's in the same county, you can just type in the address and it'll even pop in and say, okay, you're pulling it from this house. This is what we see on that house and pull it over. I know Palm Beach County has that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the spicy topic though.
So our governor is trying to eliminate property taxes. And a lot of homeowners love the idea. And I can tell you right now, anybody that has had an escrow shortage where their fixed monthly payment is now increasing, they look and it's because property taxes got reassessed or the homeowner's insurance went up slightly. But combining that, you have a shortage in your escrow account and you've got to increase your mortgage payment in order to recoup that shortage and get back on track for the next year to pay your property taxes or insurance. So we've seen this so many times, especially in the last couple of years where we've seen values increase a lot more. Yeah. So there is this argument, like, and I'll even say it like this. Let's just say you buy a house cash. Buy a house cash and you pay your insurance. Why do you have to continue paying property taxes? It's like renting the property, but you own it.
Yeah.
And that's the way some people look at it. Like, we want to own it, free and clear. Like, you don't go to the store and buy a TV and every year have to pay a little bit of a tax for the TV. No, you bought it and you own it.
So the only thing is, people, that's how they look at it. Oh, you bought it and you're renting it now from the government. But when you drive on the road, you don't pay. That's what you're paying for. It's paying for the police department, the roads, the city services. That's what the property taxes is paying for. And this is where the governor is trying to go in like, okay, well, we're taxing our own people this much, especially for Florida. We are a very high tourism state.
Right.
So if the tourists are coming in and paying the same sales tax as a citizen, a resident of Florida.
Yeah.
Why do maybe a resident should pay less and have less property taxes, and then we'll increase the sales tax on people that, don't have a Florida license or whatever it's going to be.
Right.
Like, will that offset it? These are all discussions. Now,
yeah, well, and we don't have a state income tax, which is great. That's why so many people want to move to Florida, because we don't have a state income tax.
Yeah.
So then if we eliminate this portion of property taxes, where are we going to pay for fire departments, infrastructure, city services? So it's got to either be a higher sales tax, tourism tax, higher fees. So then we can move it, I guess, to like the non-ad valorem portion and pay a specific amount, like not a percentage, but like $1,000 per homeowner, or there's going to be some type of new tax entirely.
Now, these property taxes that they're trying to eliminate, one is they're trying to eliminate the state portion, which is probably 25 to 40% of your property tax, which is still great. That's still a huge amount. People don't realize like the city and the county taxes that are in there, they're still going to be able to do it. Now, they might even increase their taxes a little bit because now they're not getting money from the state because the state's not getting it from the property taxes. So that could happen. Right. The other thing is this is only for homestead properties. So second homes, investments will still have the full property tax bill.
Right.
They're not taking those away. So they could see that again. That's the whole tourism, investment, all that stuff that they're like, hey, you want to be here with us, you're gonna have to pay a little bit more on those.
Well, and one of the little like line items on one of the bills, like trying to go through the state right now, is a 5% exit tax.
Mhm.
So if your home is worth 500,000 and you're selling it, or you're selling it for 500,000, you have to pay 5% of that.
Yeah.
That would be $25,000 as an
Yeah.
exit tax.
Could keep a lot of people in their thing.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't going to sell. Tell you that.
That would make inventory disappear from those people.
There's a
So,
lot of
and
people
these
that
are
can't
all these
afford to
ideas.
like,
They have so many ideas on. They're just trying to figure it out. So they're going everywhere and then going through it and trying to figure out what it is. But they're flooding it with like people think, oh, my property tax is going to be zero. That's not true. There's no bill that says they're just eliminating it completely.
well, and I also think that like, especially for like our older homeowners, so 65 and older that are living on like fixed income between retirement, social security, pension, and then their property taxes are increasing every single year.
Yeah.
Like that's hard. So can we eliminate it for that? Like what route are we going to go? Like,
Yeah.
I think we should be able to help certain people, especially those that are on fixed incomes, but it's
I
trying
think
to,
that's part of where they say like you bought it for 300, you're just taxed on 300. There's no 3% increase cap. There's no 10%. It is you bought it for 300. That is what you're going to pay it off for the rest of the time you own it.
right.
And like they're thinking that part. They might do that. That is one option that will, hey, your principal and interest will stay the same, and then your taxes will stay roughly the same. Like the principal and interest, if it's a fixed mortgage rate, like it's staying the same through the whole
Right.
time of the mortgage. And you say, hey, taxes will stay basically the same. Like we said before, the county could redo the mill rate and say, hey, we're going to increase it. And that's where it would, but it would basically sit there the same all the way through.
Yeah, no, I think that there's some type of reform we can do that'll be beneficial to homeowners.
Yeah.
And we've just got to figure that out. So
Like you said, the
increasing
sale
caps, expanding the exemptions, we're creating some sort of relief for long-term homeowners. Something.
I think or hey, you've lived there for so long, like you said, you lived there for so long. Hey, after 10 years, you don't pay any more taxes or something.
Yeah, something. So I don't know, but most important thing from today's podcast, if you bought a home and it's your primary residence, file for Homestead.
And
It's not automatic.
You do it especially if you bought in 2025. If you bought it even before and you're like, oh, I never filed, go file.
Yeah.
If you bought this year, go file because you won't get the benefit for this year. You'll get the benefit next year, but you won't. I don't want you to be like, oh yeah, okay. Because that's the thing is people are buying it in January of this year. They don't file for Homestead. At the time they don't think about it next January. They've been in the house for a year. They don't think about it. So like as soon as you do it, you file. And like Derek said, most counties, I know when I did mine on this house, so that was 5 years ago. It took me, I think I had to take a picture of my driver's license. I think I did about 2 or 3 weeks after I bought the house. Like it was on the county website that I owned it. And I just click. It took me like 5 minutes.
Yeah. I didn't even need to take a picture of my driver's license. I got my driver's license updated. I did that online and it just change of address. And then that came in the mail. And then went online to the Seminole County Property Appraiser website, like pulled up my address. I'm the owner, filed for Homestead, and then just go through. You put in your driver's license number, it asks you a couple other questions. And then next thing you know, my wife and I filed for Homestead on new house and transferred the portability from our old house to the new one.
Yeah, it is super simple. You used to have to go, not want to say the courthouse. I mean, you probably used to have to go to the courthouse to do it, but like you had to go to
the court or the tax collector office.
You had to go to tax collector office now. Like, you have to. I remember our first house that we bought. I think I had to go file it in person. It wasn't online.
Right.
They might have had an online thing, but I think it just took forever to update. That I just went in person to do it.
Yeah. Now it's easier. So there's no reason for you not to. Make sure you file for Homestead. Even if you bought 10 years ago and you're like, oh my God, I wonder if I have Homestead exemption. It'll show online. Go look it up. If it says no exemptions, file for Homestead.
And I would, if you are, hey, I bought it 2 or 3 years ago, ask for them to backdate it.
Yeah.
Maybe they will. They might not refund you money, but they might change your taxable value down to there. So that's at least the minimum that you want. You want that. But what's the worst they can say? Hey, we're not backdating you.
Yeah,
that's fine.
No, ask.
At least
Go ahead and ask. Doesn't hurt to ask. That's it.
Oh, this has been another wonderful episode of the Brutally Honest Loan Officers podcast. I am Steven, and with me, as always, is Mr. Derek.
We'll see you next week.
See you guys.